Plaintiff Deborah Body says her son was friends with the defendant's son, and she does not believe the defendant is a good role model for her child. Deborah says not only did the defendant's son steal one of her CDs, but he also damaged Deborah's laptop computer, so she's suing. Defendant Regina Brabson insists that her son is a good kid who respects her. But Deborah's son fears Deborah, and that's the only reason they're in court today. Regina claims her son accidentally broke the computer while roughhousing with Deborah's son. So she believes the boy should be held equally responsible.
Prove your case.
Your Honor, I've been watching your show for many years, and I know that you don't always hold the parents responsible for the their children's actions, I should say. Parents are responsible, though, for teaching and training their children. And parents are also responsible for setting an example. The reason we are here today— I agree with
that. Unless a parent is negligent in training and teaching that child and or supervising that child, I do not hold the parent responsible, as some states do and as some judges do, because I believe that if a parent does everything possible, supervises that child perfectly, is there around that child 18 hours a day unless the child is at school and everything else, and the child is a perfect child, and then the child has one slip up or mistake, the parent shouldn't be responsible. That's, for example, I'm sure you've done a good job with your son, right?
I believe so.
All right. Now, if your son commits a crime, you think you should go to jail for it?
No.
I didn't think so. All right, move on. That's why I have that approach. Go right ahead.
The reason we are here today is because I believe and feel that because of the lack of parenting.
There you go. All right.
The defendant is 100% responsible.
Where do you
for her child's actions.
Where do you get the notion that she is negligent in parenting her child?
This is not the first issue that I have had with Andrew. In 2008, I have an older son, and he had purchased my favorite song, my favorite CD for my birthday.
What was that?
Chris Brown, On and Poppin'.
All right, go ahead.
So I had the CD in my car because I, was going to put it in the CD player. Andrew had been visiting, and I was taking him home because it was raining. My CD come up missing. My son and I didn't think anything about it. I was just saying, where's my CD? I thought maybe he had knocked it out of the car, while getting in and out, because he does ride. What did you come to find? I come to find that Andrew had taken my CD.
Okay, and did you tell his mother?
Yes, I did.
What was her response?
No, she did not.
Her response was—
Is your first time hearing it?
It's the very first time I heard of this incident about a CD being stolen.
All right, let me hear from you, ma'am.
Okay, well, I want to start out by saying that there's a difference between respecting your parents and fearing your parents. My child respects me wholeheartedly, but he does not fear me as Elijah fears his mother. That's why we're in court today, because he lied to his mother because he's afraid to tell the truth about the laptop incident.
What examples do you have of him fearing his mother?
Well, I mean, I've heard her speak to him in a tone that I wouldn't speak to my child. And the child, his response is he's going to tell her what she wants to hear because he's afraid to speak up and tell the truth.
And I'm certain your son doesn't lie.
Oh, my son does lie.
So what's the difference?
But he
lies out of fear, he lies out of respect. Anything else you want me to know by way of background?
That's it.
All right. Let's get to the issue that you're suing about, the laptop.
On 12/31/09, I would really prefer my son to tell you because he's the one who brought it to me.
State your name.
Elijah.
All right. What do you want to tell me?
Okay, it all started, we were in the guest room and we were watching TV, and I decided I wanted to download some music. So I took my laptop, I opened it up, and I hooked my iPod up to the computer. And then I started to download the music, and Andrew was still watching TV. Then after a couple of minutes or so, he tried He wanted to wrestle, and that's when I put him in the chokehold, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I just let him go. And I went to the bathroom, and then I looked back, and my iPod is still hooked up to the computer, and I turned around and I heard a click sound, right? And then that's when I run to the computer and I open it, and I see it's cracked, like on the bottom left side of the screen.
Let me tell him from that point, okay?
All right.
Now, let me ask him first to clarify what he has just told me. You went to the bathroom?
Yeah.
And that's when you saw what?
Him closing the computer.
Over and over?
Nah, just once, like forcing it down.
You saw him forcing it down?
Yes.
When you turned around?
Yes. Yeah, the iPod was right here, and he was slamming it, and that's
he
when I
hit
hit
it,
the click.
Obviously,
And then
lifted it back up.
Yes, and I see it's cracked.
Let me hear from you.
Well, I wasn't there either, so I prefer that my son give his side of the story.
All right, state your name.
Andrew,
You tell me what happened.
we were wrestling, and he put me in a chokehold, like he said, and then I went to go close the computer after he let me go, and the iPod happened to be in there, and it had broken.
Why did you close it with the iPod in there?
I didn't know the iPod was in there.
You couldn't see.
No, I
and
closed it from behind.
You were closing it from behind. When you closed it from behind, it did not close all the way, did it?
No.
All right, and then you pulled it back up to look at it?
Yes.
All right, and then what?
I saw that it had a crack in the screen,
All right.
and I let him know. there was a
Okay,
crack
so
in
you
the
did
screen.
it.
Yes.
All right. Good. He's admitting to doing it. So how did you follow up?
I let her know, and I told her, I said, well, they've already let me know that the warranty at the store would not pay for it, but I do have another warranty on it, and I'm going to call them and see if I can get them to fix it. If there is no cost involved, you would know, but if there's a cost involved, I definitely would call you. She said, okay, well, no problem. Call me and let me know, and I'll pay for it.
All right,
That was
ma'am.
it.
No, I never told her I would pay for anything. I told her that call me and let me know what they tell you, and then we'll go from there.
That was the end of that day's conversation?
That was the end of that
All right,
day's
what was the next
The
communication?
next communication is January 3rd. I got the estimate from the maker, and the maker told me I had to pay this up front and the shipping to and from. So I said, okay, I made that arrangements, and then I called her immediately and told her. She informed me she was at the mall shopping, and she said, okay. I told her I estimate about $250 because I didn't think the laptop would cost so much shipping it, because it's a laptop. So about 30 minutes later, she calls me back, ballistic. Asked me, what are you trying to do?
No, I
Buy
never
him a
called you
whole
ballistic
new-
at all, Deborah. You was the
Ma'am,
one.
I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
She said, what are you trying to do? Buy him a whole new laptop? No, that would
Was
be
not the
well over
conversation.
$700 to buy.
Okay.
But
How did the
it was
conversation
costing-
with her end that day?
She called my son a name and told me about his father.
What did I call your son? I never said anything about your
His
child.
father said that we should pay half. Then
She
they
suggested paying half.
offered.
All right, let me hear from you, ma'am.
She calls me and leaves me a voicemail on my phone. I was at the mall. So once I get home, the first thing I do is I call his father and I discuss the situation with his dad, and I got his opinion on it. And he says, well, I feel both parties are involved, both boys are involved. If they were playing roughhousing, split the cost. I said, okay. So I called Deborah back and I gave her that proposal.
What did she say?
She says, well, I disagree with Andrew's father, and I will see you in court, or I will see you in the streets, whichever one comes first.
You all ever?
My goodness.
Did you speak after that?
And I told her, I said, you're not going to threaten me and get anything out of me. And so after that point, she's the one who went totally ballistic over the phone. I had the cell phone away from my ear like this. My sister walks into the bedroom. She says, who are you on the phone with? I said, this is Deborah. This is Elijah's
What
mom.
was she saying?
She was talking so loud and so fast, I couldn't understand what she's saying. She's screaming.
Okay.
So my sister takes the cell phone from me, and she does offer Deborah half of the money on the spot. Because I told Deborah, I said, I'm willing to pay half, but
And
I
what
can't
did she
give it
say?
to you for 2 weeks.
And what did she
said
say?
she refused. She don't want it. She wants all of it because he's totally responsible, she
Okay.
feels. And so she wanted all of
Your
it.
Honor, let me say this. Her sister offered me $100. I said, okay. She said, Regina doesn't have the money. I said, I've been in that position before. I understand. I said, I have told
Did you
Regina that I would wait.
did you refuse to accept half?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay, so you were willing
No,
to
sir.
accept half.
But what
were
I
willing-
refused to accept was for them telling me she's going to give me $100 and I'm going to pay the other half. And I told her no. I said Regina and them is going to be responsible for their child. Regina then
But you just told
tells
me you agreed to accept half.
no. I did not agree to
But
accept.
you just told me that.
I'm wrong because I never was offered.
You can't
half.
tell me something and
Okay,
then
well,
retract
I'm wrong
it.
because I never was offered half, Your Honor.
No, I have to go with what you told
Okay.
me.
Her-
You told me that you agreed to accept half. That was before you changed your story.
Mistake.
So I'm going to grant you half.
Okay, Your Honor, please, let me-
$152 is your judgment for the half that she offered and the half that you accepted at one point. Have a good day. That's my judgment.
I hate to say it, but they're probably not going to be friends again after this. It's a sad situation, but that's probably how it's going to end because it is what it is.
I leave that decision to the boys.
It could happen.
Yeah, it could
It's
happen.
up to him.